Hi, I'm Annie Botticelli, and welcome to my 12-part eclipse series on the eclipses going through the signs and houses. Definitely go to lumelife.com, L-U-M-E life.com, which is my school, Luminous Life Multiversity, to enroll in free courses and all kinds of other offerings I have through there. And when you search for my name, Annie Botticelli, in an internet search, you'll see all kinds of listings of mostly free resources that I make for you to facilitate your study of astrology and your quest for vibrational wellness. So this series is talking about eclipses. I'm doing one eclipse video for each sign and house. Okay, so every sign in astrology corresponds with a house in the zodiac wheel. And so an eclipse in a certain sign is also the energy of that corresponding house. And this becomes very helpful to understand when you want to go deeper in your study of eclipses and how they may affect you, and understanding the opportunities and the lessons that are at play during each eclipse cycle. Each eclipse cycle is about 2 years long, and every 6 months in those 2 years we have a hot spot where the actual eclipses occur. So the storylines, the themes, the lessons, the opportunities, the chances to clear karma and get on our dharmic path, which is our highest expression path, which is what the eclipses really represent. They occur along the nodal line, and the nodes represent clearing karma and stepping into our highest expression. So every eclipse that we have and every eclipse cycle that's at play is really facilitating us in healing, clearing karma, and on stepping on our highest trajectory, which is our dharma, our purpose, why we're here. So that's why it's really important to understand them, and why I spend so much time creating resources to facilitate this for you. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little bit of a background on what eclipses, what they represent and what they can bring, and then we'll go into the featured sign and house for this video. Okay, so these eclipses happen twice a year usually. Sometimes it's every 6 months basically, so it could be the beginning of one year and then in the middle and then towards the end, or they're broken up that way. So when the eclipses come, they tend to bring alive and into clear view that scientific law that matter is not created, neither created nor destroyed, it just changes form. We can really see that at play at the eclipses, where it's taking energy from one area, because the eclipses run with polarities. Okay, so there are 12 signs and there are 6 polarities. So there's signs that oppose each other, that are a pair. And the eclipses happen in these 2 opposing signs throughout that 2 years. So it's a reshuffling and a reworking of energy. So one eclipse cycle, it will take from one area and add to the other, and vice versa. So we're just kind of shifting and reshuffling and reorganizing energy in those arenas of your life. The eclipses occur in certain signs, and those effects are global. But they also drill down into certain areas of your chart for each sign, and that understanding this and watching these videos will help you to take the work deeper. Now, in order to figure out during each eclipse cycle what houses are being accentuated for you personally, just watch my monthly videos, and somewhere in the area of the eclipse time, I'll be talking about it, but it will save me a lot of time having this video series to refer you to, so we don't have to cover all of this in each of the horoscope videos, which is what I used to do. Okay, so this reshuffling of energy, where basically the energy isn't it isn't created, it changes forms. So we might see a grandparent die and a child be born. So for that person who's experiencing that, it's like an area of their lives that was present with them for their whole lives is gone, but now this new energy is here. So it's like this major reshuffling of energy, and it very often has very, very major trajectory changes for a lot of people, and it's going to depend on the exact degree that it's hitting planets in your chart. But if it's really affecting you, you'll know it. Everybody else may have a subtle change that's harder to notice or recognize, but it's definitely affecting everyone, regardless of whether we're aware of it or not. And the more you look, the more you'll see these things at play. So eclipse season, what I call eclipse season, lasts about 4 to 6 and even sometimes 8 weeks before the actual eclipse. You'll see a heating up. It's kind of like, I always think about it as a pot on a stove, where it's like a certain pot, okay, and a certain liquid in that pot that has a certain energy that has the signs that are in that eclipse cycle. And during the actual eclipse time, it heats up to a boil, you know? And then during the times in between, it's like down to a simmer. And then we turn up, you know, the universe cranks up the messages and they convert from the inner world into the outer world, and we get to see them more clearly. And so it heats up and then it kind of fades back down, and it heats up, but the themes are always at play for these 2 months. For these 2 years. Okay, so just make sure I tell everything else. So the things that happen at eclipse time tend to feel destined a lot of times, where things happen, and a lot of times it's out of our control. Eclipses often bring non-negotiable changes to our lives. It can be very scary and very stressful. So it's definitely a key point around eclipse time to do modalities that help you to ease anxiety, and I discuss those in videos and other offerings that I have on how you can keep the anxiety level low so that you can stay connected with your intuition and with spirit and navigate through them in the easiest way. Okay, so even though there are certain things in our lives that are fated and unavoidable, there are definitely things we have some say in, and we can shift our experience of those events. So understanding all of these things and doing inner work to help clear out the karmic gunk that's coming up can be part of how we can have a better experience of the things that are fated to happen. Okay, so just make sure there's everything I wanted to talk about there. Okay, yeah, so just the overview is that eclipses as an astronomical occurrence happen at the time they're happening, but eclipses as an astrological occurrence happen for all of the time they're occurring. And you'll notice for the years that a certain eclipse cycle is happening, if you go back to the last time or last times that eclipse cycle happened, there are themes at play that will likely come back into your life. It doesn't mean the same things will happen per se, but you'll see the same lessons, the same topics that are moving you along in a certain area of life. Okay, so now let's check out the sign and house of focus. Eclipses tend to bring in new opportunities and or dramatic endings and closures, or things coming to fruition. The things that tend to be highlighted at an 10th house eclipse time or Capricorn eclipse time are the work sector. So job, boss, co-workers as it relates to your work experience, your career. So ending a job is very, very common at eclipse time, either through getting fired, having a package, a compensation package, or voluntary leaving of the job. Sometimes new opportunities for work come in that you can do on the side of your other work. So a new job opportunity that allows you to keep your current one, so it just kind of adds to. And sometimes it's a lateral movement. Sometimes there's a move for work. So there's a work opportunity, but it requires a move. And sometimes there's a necessity to move, which can necessitate the change for work because of the move. So it can work either way. A lot of times when there's an eclipse in the 10th house, or an eclipse cycle is working in the 10th house or in Capricorn, father or father figures come into the forefront in a bigger way. Sometimes dad has something going on. There could be illness, there could be pressure, there could be something they're experiencing. Sometimes it could just be that the father or father figure is helping you, or that your relationship to father, either through forgiveness or through other, collaboration, could be coming into the forefront. So projects with dad, relationship with dad is often going to come into the forefront. Authority figures, which again usually has a basis in what your relationship was like with your father as a child, or your father figure, or lack of father figure, but clashes with authority, including like legal or police matters, sometimes come for people, or bosses, or you being your own authority, finding your inner authority, or, kind of like being an authority to somebody else, management positions, or stepping into those type of roles. For those who don't work or have a career or need to make money, the energy of the place out in the world can often come up at eclipse time with a 10th house or Capricorn eclipse, where there's a finding of a dharmic path, like this is what I'm supposed to do, which may or may not be related to money. But stepping out into the world, taking one's role in the world, doing what someone came here to do, sometimes there's movement along those fronts, either through accomplishment, like you accomplish a goal of what you set out to do, or through greater discovery about what it is exactly that you're supposed to do. One of the resources that I really love for this is a book called Astrology for the Soul by Jan Spiller. She's my favorite astrologer, and this book has had the most influence on me. So that her book can help you through a certain placement in your chart to better understand the pitfalls that keep you away from doing what you're supposed to do, and what your highest expression is and how to get there. So I highly recommend that for everybody, especially when this cycle is occurring. The energy of discipline and responsibility. So some people have too much discipline and too much responsibility, in which cases these eclipses could cut out something that you were responsible for. It could be, maybe a child is graduating from college, or, something is happening where there's an ending to what you were responsible for. Maybe you had a goal and you were disciplined to get there, and you reached the goal, and now you can lighten up a bit. And for others, it will bring up the question of possibly needing more discipline. So something could occur from the outside, or an impetus can occur from the inside to get a strategy together, to be more responsible, to be more accountable, to take more ownership, and get back more feeling like you're in the driver's seat of your life through your work and discipline and your strategy or bigger plan. So strategies can end, shift, be new, come into fruition. Lots of movement in all of these areas at this time. So I hope you loved this. Definitely look at my other resources. If you search for my name, Annie Botticelli, online, you'll find tons of things that I offer you. You can go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com, for lots of blogs and other things that can facilitate your journey. You can go to cozybysweetstarlight.com for written horoscopes, lifestyle blogs, and astrology kissed information that I think you will just love. You can go to lumelife.com, L-U-M-E life.com, to see my school, Luminous Life Multiversity. And definitely check out my growing list of books, including my new book, PLANETOLOGY. If you search for Annie Botticelli and PLANETOLOGY, and Annie Botticelli, Radical Prayer, those are the two books that are out as of the time of my recording this. And I'm sure as this goes on, you will see more books coming out from me. I hope you have a wonderful eclipse season, and I'll see you in another video. Bye!